What if the most dangerous thing a person can do in a world that demands silence is dream out loud? Not quietly, not safely, not hidden away in the private theater of their own mind, but to stand in front of the entire world and say, "This is not good enough, and I can see something better." That kind of courage has so often been mistaken for madness, or even heresy. History has a strange and often cruel habit. It almost always punishes the madness of a new idea first, only to celebrate its genius later. In 1963, a man stood before 250,000 people and spoke with unwavering conviction about a world that didn't exist yet. A world where his own children wouldn't be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. He wasn't presenting facts or figures, he was describing a dream. And for that dream, he was watched, criticized, and relentlessly called dangerous, and eventually, silenced forever. But the dream didn't die, because the world we live in today was built by people who refused to stop imagining something better. And this isn't a rare story, it's a pattern. It's a pattern that repeats itself across history, a rhythm of defiance and consequence. A man in ancient Greece asked uncomfortable questions about truth and justice, challenging the very foundations of his society. Instead of listening, society gave him poison. A prince walked away from luxury and power, not because he had to, but because he couldn't ignore the suffering all around him. People thought he was strange, but he was simply paying attention. Another man looked at a rapidly growing economy and asked, "Who is this system really serving?" The powerful didn't like that question, not because it was wrong, but because it was deeply uncomfortable. And then there were those who looked at humanity itself, at our wars, our cruelty, our endless repeating mistakes, and dared to ask the most unsettling question of all. Are we really as advanced as we think we are? One writer imagined a future where truth could be rewritten, where language could be controlled, where people wouldn't even realize they were being watched. At the time, it sounded like fiction. Today, it feels uncomfortably familiar. Here's what's interesting. None of these people were chasing success. They weren't building brands. They weren't trying to go viral. They weren't trying to be liked. They were chasing something much harder. Meaning, they asked questions most people were too afraid to ask. They saw problems others were comfortable ignoring, and they spoke, even when it cost them everything. And that brings us to something important. Every single one of them was called unrealistic, naive, dangerous, out of touch. And yet, time has a way of flipping those labels. The people dismissed as dreamers often understood reality better than everyone else. So the next time you hear someone say, "Be realistic," pause and ask yourself, realistic by whose standards and in service of whose comfort? Because the world has never been changed by people who accepted it as it was. It has only ever been changed by people brave enough to imagine it differently. They called them crazy. History called them right. And now there's only one question left. Who are the dreamers of our generation? And more importantly, are we listening? Or are we making the same mistake again?